Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about the full moon in Sagittarius, which is happening on 17th of June, which will have an impact on us at least for the next 2 weeks as we get into the eclipse season. Whatever videos I've done this month and this video, they are to prepare us for the eclipses that are coming in the month of July. We are receiving certain karmic beginnings and certain karmic endings which are about to come with the eclipses, and this full moon gives us the vigor, the positivity, the focus to go ahead into this phase, this new phase of our life. Full moon in Sagittarius is all about purpose. It's all about aiming for a goal and going after it, going after with everything we've got, deciding on our mission in life and not letting anything, anyone, any opponent, any hindrance come in the way of that. Deciding that we will never be less than what we have seen ourselves to be, what our heart has told us that we can be, deciding never to be less than that and going after that. That promise, that culmination in our heart, that desire, that curiosity, that adventure, that vigor is the full moon in Sagittarius. It wants to make sure that we do not give up our mission. It wants us to be optimistic, over the top optimistic faith in our future. So we don't back down, irrespective of the hindrances we are currently seeing in our life. And that's happening in parallel. The cosmos work like that. We are given certain hindrances and then we are given hope. We are given expansion. We are given the impetus to move forward irrespective of what's coming in our way. That's what this full moon at 26 degree of Sagittarius wants to do. It wants to throw a light on what we have achieved so far. When we got on a mission 6 months back, or all the way back 7th of December 2017, when we made a promise to life. We made a promise to do something different in our life, to be more, to expand our mind, to travel, to publish, to write, to gain more knowledge, to expand our purpose, to walk a difficult path that we knew is going to be difficult. It brings certain first fruits of that labor. It shows us the results of some of the work we have done so far. It gives us the optimism, the adventure, the restlessness to experience life in a completely different way than we have before. It does not want us to give up our purpose. It wants us to reignite this fire within us to go after our desires. It wants us to see the big picture because we might have got lost in the details. It wants us to see the bigger picture in terms of where we are going and see the view from the top so we do not lose the way. It's an archer. He wants us to aim for the best. It wants us to stretch this arrow back and throw it with all our vigor, all that we have got. It's very spontaneous. It is overstated. It has to be overstated. How else do you do something that you've not done before? How else do you go out of your comfort zone and do something if you do not have over the top enthusiasm? And to some extent, some people might call it madness. It's required, some amount of madness is required for us to do the impossible, and that's what this full moon aims us to do. There is over the top energy with this full moon, and it's required to get out of a position either of repression or of us being stopped in our track because of some hindrances. It wants us to be a man on a mission or a woman on a mission. 26 degree of Sagittarius is represented in Sambian astrology as a flag bearer in a battle. This is in some of the astrologers describe it as Saint George on horseback who attacks a big but absurd looking dragon with a lance from which a large flag is flying. You are very idealistic, but you'll stand up to anybody, any opponent of any size, any magnitude with this kind of energy. You do not want to go backward because once you have seen you can be more, you cannot be less. You will stand up to anything that is coming in the path of what you think is your ideal and what's your truth. You will crusade. your personal understanding of truth, retaliating even, because you will stick your neck out for something that you think is your truth. This is faith, so this is belief without proof. This is us moving into something which we do not have full information on whether it will be successful or not, yet we have decided this is our faith, we want to go for it. And this kind of vulnerability needs to be created sometimes for us to do the impossible, for us to do difficult things, for us to get out of a situation where we wanted to get out for a long time and experience the kind of expansion we wanted to experience. Certain amount of information will come out. Every full moon is enlightening in a way. This full moon is more enlightening than the rest because it's happening at the galactic center. The moon is at the galactic center, which is connected to source. We get messaging from beyond on what we are supposed to do. We are given a direction, because moving into eclipse season without knowing our higher purpose of life, it will not let us use those eclipses in the right way. We want to have a blueprint of where we are going to get there. And this, in no uncertain terms, over the next couple of days, gives us the messaging of where we want to go, because we want to hold ourselves and others to higher standards moving forward. We want to have the courage of our conviction, because we want to do something that we have not done before, which is brave, which is adventurous, which is risky, but it has a purpose. It has a higher purpose, and you know that you would be more and not less by doing it. It will enrich who you are. It will enrich your knowledge. It will, at the very least, enrich your self-knowledge. This full moon is almost without any direct influence. Nothing is directly coming in its path. So it is a manifesting full moon. It results in something, but its ruler is right now retrograde, which means that instead of the 2 weeks, this effect will, in my view, extend all the way till August and September. And that is also the theme of one key aspect which is happening along with this full moon, which is Jupiter and Neptune are meeting each other in a hard aspect. Jupiter and Neptune meet each other in a hard aspect once in 13 years. Rudyard described that as a crisis of consciousness which our society undergoes, because it needs to outgrow an old way of thinking, an old ideology. So we feel a mental crisis which pushes us to form a new way of looking at life, a vision that we did not have before. And this aspect happened for the first time this year in January. This is a 9-month birthing process of a new ideology of our society and a new ideology of our own life. They will meet 3 times this year over this 9-month birthing process. The first time they met was on 13th of January. Second time is 16th of June. The third time they will meet will be 21st of September. From now all the way till 21st of September is the process of giving birth to this ideology. So we are perfecting it. This is a creative high. It's a creative process of giving birth to a new life. Where we fall, we will fall. We will face a challenge to our faith, because our old faith is being dissolved. So we'll realize that there were certain thinking that was wrong previously, or at least it is outdated versus what we want to do. We are shown the gaps in our ways to some extent, and there is a test of faith at the same time whether we are sure about our mission. Are you really serious about this? Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to go ahead on this path? So that test comes with this hard aspect, but at the same time, they are given the inspiration which comes through internal epiphany and breakthroughs. Because if you cross this hurdle and you say, I still want to do it, you set your path, you decide your direction, and then you go after it. There is no stopping you after that. There is a challenge to your faith where we realize that this is it. We have to work through it. There is internal push to gain back the position that we might have lost in the last couple of months as we see an alternative path. We fix those issues. That leads to a completely more expanded way of doing things that we did not imagine before. This is the creative process of undergoing a shift in ideology at the society level, at the personal level, and we are in the gestation period of it right now. It's very idealistic. We are receptive to a new way of thinking right now. Neptune is very strong this month as it's about to go retrograde. So it's standing still. It's diffusing an old way of thinking. It is causing some confusion as well, certain amount of misinformation as well. Because what Neptune does is that it fogs our outsides. So the only person who we can trust is us. It creates almost a distrust about everything and everyone around us because it wants us to follow our own internal impulses and instincts versus listening to somebody else, which includes me. It includes anyone guiding you. They can help you, they can give you inputs, they can give you direction, they can add knowledge to you, they can add information to you. Hell, they can add inspiration to you. But no, they do not know what you want. Only you know what you want. And you are receiving that download from far beyond. The point is to listen to yourself. Listen to yourself and trust your instincts to do the right thing. But this would remain up in the air kind of a thing where we'll have out of the world ideas. We'll find even in the global approach, we'll find certain out of the world ideas. Optimistic, yes, but how do we create practical results of that? That's where Saturn comes into play. Beautiful thing this year is that Neptune and Saturn are together in a positive aspect, which means that this new ideology can be given structure, can be given form, can be given creative, physical, touch it, feel it, commercial, launch it kind of a format. We can give form to our inspiration, we can give form to our creativity, we can give form to our spirituality even. Provided we structure it, we plan it. The Saturn Neptune aspect is the one where we need to do the work. Because it's not a hard aspect, it's a soft aspect. So we can miss it if we don't go for it. An example, under Jupiter and Neptune aspect, it's an excellent aspect to write, to publish, to create ideologies which we can mass market. But Saturn requires us to set up time for it, set up a schedule for it. So if you think that inspiration will strike me and I'll do it according to my inspiration, that may not result in anything under this aspect. But if you set up time every day, half an hour to write, that creativity will flow in a structured format. You have a aspect that allows you to access the structured part, the organized part of you, provided you go there. The creativity is natural, it is flowing, it is abundant, but the structure is something that you need to put across, and the onus is on us from now all the way till 21st of September to generate our highest ideals into a format, into a physical format. We have to manifest our aspirations into something that is substantial, which is a substantial contribution to the world. This is an aspect that happens once in 13 years. And it generates out of the world ideas, ideologies which are innovative, and we can materially gain from it. But we have to put in the work. We have to apply a realistic approach to it. It's about being optimistic with a knowing that we have certain limitations, so we need to apply certain real structures around it. We understand how our dream can be of value to the society, to the bigger picture here. While we have the spiritual support, we have the creativity, we have the encouragement, we have out of the ordinary experience that is coming our way, But the sextile requires us to access the discipline. It's a latent aspect. So drop your boundaries, ask for support, accept your impulses, and create a new structure. This last happened in 2016. There was no Saturn that year. But even Jupiter and Neptune together, it exposed so many realities. So many scandals came out in 2006. So many economic scandals came out that year. We had um, we had the Middle East crisis escalate with the people going after fighting for their faith, fighting for their ideologies. But there was no control, no Saturn that year. Even with that, we saw so much breakthroughs in technology, in humanitarian activities, bold steps in global warming, bold steps in philanthropy. It was one of the best years in philanthropy. We had Warren Buffett give away 85% of his wealth in that year. We made progress in endangered species that year. There were so many natural cures that were created. Healing was attained. At the end of the year, with the last aspect, people were not hypnotized by fear. Poison was drawn out of the society, and system of checks and balances worked, with us creating certain new ideas. But at this point, because we are in the middle of that, in the gestation of that, gaps are being exposed. So if there are gaps exposed to you, look at them at this point in time as a process, as a part of the maturation process of our dreams. Because we do not have full information right now. So it becomes a time when we should be open to receiving some amount of feedback as well. I'm not asking you to be guided by somebody, but if you are being shown an alternative reality, look at that. Look at those inputs. Because we are in a gestation period, we are maturing our opportunity. We are seeing an alternative approach. But stay away from the glut of news, glut of arrogance and aggression that is coming from the other side, which is polluting our immediate environment. Neptune prompts us to walk with gods, not mortals' lower frequency, because it's an opportunity to connect with source and know what's the purpose of our existence. If only we'll shut outside noise, we can hear it loud and clear within ourselves, and universe is screaming out our future. If only we stop wasting this frequency in negating other person's belief and listen to our own mission. Universe is abundant for all of us. There is enough for all of us. And this full moon is telling you to manifest your truth in your abundance and know that universe is abundant. This full moon is happening with a fixed hour of Aquarius, which is known to cause eye problems, blindness. So few people might experience eye issues. Eyes could be vulnerable at this time, but most will be blinded with current reality or with rage or over the top emotions. That will be a more dominant theme on a psychological level. And that is also driven by the Angarka yoga that I spoke about in the past video. We have seen that pan out on the political scene. We have seen pan out that in a physical way in individual cases as well. Solar flares that I spoke about in the last video, which increase or shift the magnetic field of Earth. It's a physical phenomena with a psychological impact. It releases a plasma of cloud emitted from sun towards the earth, which shifts the magnetic field of earth. And that impacts us psychologically. That impacts the core of the earth because it shifts the magnetic field of the earth. And it affects the satellite system, the communication system, the electrical system, the power system. Latin America lost most of its electricity. Most of Latin America lost their electricity in the last 2 days. They still don't know the reason. There's a surge of electricity. There's a surge of heat in our outer atmosphere that is created, which causes transformers, power stations to malfunction, communication devices to malfunction. I wrote about it in the last video that I did on the Angarka yoga, and I spoke about it in the Angarka videos that I did earlier last month for you as well. That aspect started from 12th. So all of that is going on in parallel, which is overheating people. They're getting blinded by their surroundings instead of focusing on their higher mission. So the star Aquarius asks us to be blinded about all of this immediate things and envision beyond current circumstances to make a vision for you instead of losing touch with reality. It wants you to look beyond this current noise around us. Publication, travel, trade, education, spirituality, foreign relationship, causes, purposes, legislations. These are all highlighted as global themes under consideration, which can have an impact on our individual situation. This full moon is activating a key axis of United States. And we'll see that bring about shifts in its partnerships as a result of that, which we are already seeing the impact of. Now let's get into the individual signs. This is what I have in the Angarka Yoga. In the video last month, I mentioned certain trigger dates which are over the top this month. 13th was one, then I mentioned 19th and 20th and 27th. In the video also, last video also had mentioned these. So be on lookout for these for power struggles. Don't waste your energy in trying to prove your faith to anybody. That is just a waste of your good energy and higher vibration. This is you talking to yourself and figuring out what you want to do and going for it. You do not have to convince anybody else about it. Okay, let's get into individual sign. There's of course timestamps in the at the bottom in the comment section by which you can go to your sign. Let's dig in. Starting with Aries. Aries, the full moon is throwing a light on a purpose of our life, which is related to taking a leap of faith. It's linked to higher karma, a sense of adventure, which might come about in form of us traveling, in form of us taking a higher education, going for a sabbatical, going for a job which expands our mind, going for a course, a formal course, going for legalization by living in another country beyond our previous country or beyond our place of birth. Looking at publication of higher knowledge, becoming a teacher, becoming a leader of sorts, becoming a thought leader of sorts, becoming a mentor, or looking at getting a mentor who can help us become a teacher. Finding a father figure, finding a guide, finding a light which gives us exposure to foreign interactions and ideology or diverse ideologies that enrich our mind and expand our mind and get us ready for the next leap in our career. These are tools which will help us get to the next level in our career. We have a belief here in abundance of universe, and the universe delivers on that abundance. Whatever you believe in expands, so be careful what you wish for. Motivation in life is high. We are higher minded here, enthusiastic about what's about to unfold, but we do not want to give in to the lower frequencies because there will be power struggles that will be coming with this mission. In this week, you will see certain power struggles with people in authority come through. And you'll have to fight for your security. You'll have to fight for your own safety, for your own wellness, for your own family, for your own fulfillment. Stay the higher ground. Endings are inevitable because we cannot have a new life without dissolving what's not real for you anymore. The new normal is being okay with you being different from who you were in the past because you're going for a new life, you're going for a higher mission. A sense of adventure is awakened in your soul, and a new phase of life is about to begin, which has a higher purpose, which has higher belief, which requires you to walk a higher ground, which requires you to have faith And the faith does not require proof. Big ideals, big aims, big goals, enthusiasm. And that leads us to fighting any negativity that is coming from the other side as long as we have our eye on the goal. And Neptune is very strong right now in a house of faith, which is expanding our faith, expanding our linkage to this psychic, intuitive, spiritual energy which is abundant right now, but you might require privacy to access it because you might be feeling way too many things, way too many frequencies. So give yourself a few minutes away from the crowd of it all to be repleted, to be more inspired, to expand without getting bogged down by the energies around you. But overall, the impact of this full moon is to increase our risk taking capability and expand our mind to take a leap of faith, which we are about to embark upon. And Aries, this is happening around 26 degrees. So, people who have date of birth around 15th or 16th of April, 2 days before or after, will experience this the most. But the power struggles are happening around 24 degree or 22 to 24 degrees. So people who are born around, I would say, 12th of April all the way till 16th of April will experience that and need to be careful. The second decan, Aries, essentially born around 10 to 16 or 17, are coming into highlight at this time, though all of you and all of us will feel it at this time irrespective of the degrees because it's a strong influence. It's our fellow fire sign which impacts us deeply at a soul level. So that's for us, Aries. Moving on to Taurus. Taurus, the full moon in Sagittarius brings to culmination a joint situation, a joint financial situation, or an intimacy issue to fourth. It brings about either a manifestation, a completion, a result of an old investment, which can be financial in nature if it is done on a financial situation, or it can be in a personal situation and it shows up in form of expanded intimacy. You ask for what you truly need. The powerlessness is given up here, either through a mini crisis, a mini conflict, or a fight of wills. You decide, I do not want to feel powerlessness in my joint situations anymore. And the balance of power is tilted in such a way that you feel more fulfilled. This is something that you might need to weed out of your life. It could be either a person, a way of doing things, but you decide you do not want to lose your strength anymore. This is a mini crisis leading to death rebirth of sorts in our joint financial situations or in our joint intimate situation, which leads to healing. But you take charge of your personal power here. You weed out what is not serving you. You want to be in situations where you are taken care of. And this mini crisis of sorts of power leads you to figure out your path. Talking to somebody who's your friend, who's independent from this situation, traveling to a friend, talking to somebody who's in a different country, a teacher in this situation shows you a bigger picture. Counseling is of great help here. Even talking to somebody who's independent is of great help here. There is a silver lining which is seen in a situation where you thought there is no hope. But this is about you generating power out of a situation where you thought you do not have enough power. Joint resources are of great benefit to you here. They can lead to abundance. Working together, combining forces with somebody, whether it is your talents, it's your finances, it's your intimacy at a deeper level, can lead to more abundance and more inspiration to you. And it can lead to you seeing a different way of doing things, you seeing a path that you did not see before. But this shows a result, this shows an outcome. The outcome can be expansive if the choices which were made are in line with what is good for you. Or the result could be that something needs to be weeded out of your life because it's not intimate enough or it's not lucrative enough for you. This is the time, Taurus, when many commercial ideas are coming to you. With Mars and North Node together, you are being drawn to a new commercial reality. You have to weed out the ideas that are true, that serve you well, from the ones that are just sucking you in. So work on those ideas, and at this time, this crisis or this death rebirth of sorts gives birth to a new abundance, gives birth to a new path. Reading, traveling to foreign lands, talking to teachers, talking to mentors gives you guidance on what that purpose is. So that's for you, Taurus. Moving on to Gemini. Gemini, the full moon of Sagittarius, is throwing a light on your opposite sign. This is your house of partnerships, relationship, contracts. So something comes to completion that you've been aiming about. We spoke about it in your mid-year video, as mid-month video as well. What is brought to light is a contract, a commitment to a new path, which has a higher purpose, which has creativity, which is unconventional in nature to some extent. And that's what we are going after. At this point in time, a partner can be of help and guidance to you on future path. This partner can be a teacher, could be a foreigner, could be different from you, and that's why it fits. That person, that partner, that teacher, that guide who's working with you can show you a bigger picture of what you can be. It can give you guidance on your future path as well as show you a wider picture, a broader view that you were not seeing before. You can be very lucky with connections right now. Your certain gurus or connections, they can help you if you reach out. The enthusiasm and partnership is very high, and one of those partnerships can reap results. A contract that you might have been working on over the course of last 6 months or all the way from December of 2017, either a personal contract or a work contract can come to fruition over here. It opens a new door for you. If you're going for a personal partner, the person will be probably different from you, maybe from a different country, foreigner, or different class, or different background. And as I said, that's why it fits, because they're different from you. They can be a teacher, they can be a coach, they can be a person who's helping you, guiding you, showing you a bigger world, could be elder to you. But at the same time, it's jovial, it's happy. It's a connection which is based on higher values. They are benevolent, they're helping you. The partner could be a preacher, could be abroad, could be a person who's advising you, who's giving you a different perspective. And at this point in time, we close on a contract and a commitment that is so ideally suited to your expansion of soul that you want to go after it. You do not want to leave it. And this is especially true if you have planets around 26 degree, which is if you're a Gemini sun born around 17th of June. 2 degrees before, 2 degrees after, similarly 2 days before, 2 days after 17th of June will feel it the strongest. There is a possibility that we might see ourselves in a financial situation where we are asking for our worth, and that could get ourselves into a ego struggle that we want to be careful about during the course of this month. Do not engage in lower frequencies. As I said, if there are power struggles, just get what you truly deserve out of it in a diplomatic fashion by going the way you do, which is using your charm, using your soft voice, using your softer approach, using your sales skill. Get the money and the resources that you deserve out of a situation. That's for you, Gemini. Moving on to next sign. Moving on to Cancer. Cancer, the full moon is throwing a light on your house of work and health. We spoke about it in the mid month video as well. There might be a project or a shift in job which comes into focus. There's something you need to do for you to become more abundant when it comes to your work. And you might be highlighted in that. The spotlight might be on your performance, on your leadership skill, on your ability to bring that to closure. And you might have seen a higher mission it. You might find that to be a service to other. You might feel that you're helping somebody with it. Maybe you're being a mentor to your team. Maybe it's a teaching assignment, it's a guiding assignment. In some ways, you are uplifting those who work with you, or you're uplifting those who need you. And that can convert this job, this project, this new job into a mission, into a career, can become a purpose when there is a higher ideals attached to it. And there might be higher ideals attached to it, and there should be higher ideals attached to it if you want it to be expanded, if you want it to be abundant going forward. Also, your health routines are highlighted here. So there might be something in the health area that comes to focus where we need to look into. Maybe there are certain excesses that we need to be careful about, related to liver, related to thighs, which are vulnerable portions during this full moon. But at the same time, certain conflicts could come. Certain conflicts with enemies which are visible can come. We might need to look at those conflicts as to why they are arising. They could be arising because there is something in our way of working with the co-workers that is not coming out correctly to the people around us. There might be some misinformation attached to it that might need addressing. And that might come to light. Certain secrets might come to light. At the same time, in the health area, certain intuitive diagnoses might come to your mind about your old health situation. If there have been some things that were not working out well, maybe something is brought to light that helps you in the health area. And most likely, there are health issues that come to light, though normally with Jupiter here, they are easily handled. But if they do come to light, they're normally caused because of mind-body connection, which is that there is a stress that is ongoing that leads to health issues. And you have Saturn currently opposing you, which can exacerbate those health issues. So if there's a mental thinking, a thought process that is going round and round in our mind, that can affect our health. Especially if you are under the influence of Saturn right now. Saturn is about 18 degree right now, which is around 9th of July born. So if you are around 9th of July born, you might be facing some health issues because of that, which might come to light, which need addressing, and they are usually caused because of certain mental stresses versus a physical ailment. Though we should get it checked out, but normally that is the issue. This full moon will specifically highlight a work completion or a health completion for people who have planets around 26 degree of Cancer, which is around 17th of July born. So be on lookout for that, and look at doing something beyond norm, beyond day to day. In some ways, you're looking to serve others in a practical way, which helps others, which uplifts others, and that in turn enriches you and makes your career into a purpose. That's for you, Cancer. Moving on to Leo. Leo, this is happening in your house. This is your fellow fire sign. It brings joy, it brings passion, it brings energy to you because it's a positive aspect with you. It amps you up. It makes you feel like you again. It's enthusiastic self-expression. It's about joy. It's about giving a impetus to do something which is more risky in our personal life, in our professional life, in our creativity, in our love life. So what is highlighted here is love, passion, creativity, children, and our creative ventures or businesses that we might have started where we have taken a risk on ourselves. And you might be drawn to foreigners when it comes to love here, because this is related to people who are different from us. So we might be working with people who are different to us, either in a friendly capacity, or they might be our love interest at this point in time. We are meant to dissolve the blues to give away to light here, Leos. That's what it is. We are drawn to romance from afar. We are drawn to multiple opportunities or passionate outlets. Long distance travel is called for, or mind travels for fun. This is you in all your glory, bringing you to the forefront, not feeling afraid of it all, putting yourself first, putting your passions first. This is lucky karma, this is passion, this is childlike joy finding you and regenerating your heart, which is very much required after the ordeal, after a long journey that you've been on. So receive the love and never forget the bold expression that you are experiencing right now, because what you're seeing right now is truly you, the fun, the expression of opinion without hindrances, having worldviews, having a purpose which is linked to having fun. Having this childlike fun is the purpose of life to some extent. Creating something which is broad minded, which is inspiring for others, which is based on your passions. This highlights your creative core, and that is brought to focus with this full moon. So, some creative venture might give fruits. You took a risk in your personal life, that gives fruit. You took a risk in your business, you took an investment risk in your business, that gives fruits here. This is specifically true if you have planets around 26 degree of Leo, which is around 18th of August born, few days before, few days afterwards. You might be ready to give birth to something. It could be somebody as well. You might be ready to pop out something which you've been working on over the course of last couple of months. Or you might be ready to give birth to a venture, move it to the next stage. You might be ready to make a hobby into a passion, into a career right now. And at this point in time, you are infused with more capacity to take risk. What is happening apart from this is that you might be very restless because Mars and North Node are together and they're fighting together in your house of restoration, regeneration. So there might be a little bit of insomnia which is happening, but at the same time, your imagination is on fire. So you can use that imagination to generate something out of it, which is valuable here. But being a little bit careful of self care, inflammation of body is required at this stage, even though you are working all cylinder on and this is giving you the impetus to do exactly that. But there's a possibility to burn out a little bit, overdo a little bit. Be careful of that. Apart from that, Leo, the power struggles are more likely to be at work with a co-worker, with a person at work, which you want to be careful about. That's happening around 20 to 23 degrees. So I would say all the way from about 13th, 12th of August to 18th of August, you want to be careful about that. It's possible in a work setting essentially, with a co-worker, with a team player at this point in time. So that's for you. Moving on to Libra. Libra, this is happening in your house of communication, a communication project, a branding project, a negotiation of a contract, a writing, a speaking exercise, or a commercial project is coming to a conclusion, or an important karmic messaging is coming your way, which defines your life path. This is something which is shifting in your work, which is about to come next month. There might be certain amount of information that is coming on that ahead of time. There could be a lot of important news, messaging, talks about purpose, path in life, mentors, travel, and future that's about to come in front of you. And your future is possibly shifting in terms of your career path, or important restructuring might be in process at work, which is about to unveil. Gossips will be galore over here. Distractions can be a lot. So filter the busy overload of information that is coming your way here. What can be practically used to self promote, to help you in your forward progression in your career? You have a compassionate philosopher mind, which is admired and loved by many. So don't miss out on the social high, but filter the information. Collaborate, learn, travel, add to your skills through day to day interactions while standing guard to the gossip that might be coming your way. You want to be careful about being misinformed about things in the work environment through your co-workers through the day to day. But there's a lot of hope, lot of meaning coming through in your mind. This is a positive upliftment of our mind and giving purpose to the day-to-day tasks, doing them to their perfection, so we can get to a different path and career which is about to be unveiled in July for you. Salespeople will do very well. There might be a commercial transaction that might be coming to conclusion with this. There might be an expansion of a marketing event that might help you. Marketing yourself will help you right now. Talk people up, chat up right now. It's not about details, it's about big picture being presented to people in a very, very positive and expanded manner, which appeals to their emotional side. Marketing, branding, promoting, all of that is favored under this full moon for you, Libra. This is happening at 26 degrees. So if your planet's around 26 degree, or if you're born around 18th or 19th of October, this is a positive energy for you, and you have an access to get this, to use it to your advantage. Use the communication to your advantage, use the branding to your advantage, use the higher thinking that is coming towards you for your advantage. Possibly some karmic messages about a commercial change, a career change coming your way as well, which will fully reveal itself in July with the eclipse in that area for you. What you want to be careful about, Libra, is that you have Mars and North Node in your career house, so you're working towards a new career start. There might be some push and pull between your family life and your career at this time, because your ambition are high, but your home and family life might be calling as well. So there's some restructuring in the balance between the two that might be required at this stage. This is especially true if your planets around 22, 23, 24 degree of Libra, which is around, I would say, about 14th of October born, around 14th, 15th of October, few days before or after, 2 days before or after 14th of October born. Moving on to Virgo. I'm sorry, I missed Virgo. Virgo, this is happening in your house of home and family. This is an important axis that this full moon is throwing a light on. This is a closure in a real estate deal. This is a closure in a home or family matter which you might have been working on over the last 6 months. You might be relocating. You might be looking to move or shift home. You might be looking at creating a home away from home. You might be traveling, and hence you maybe need to stay abroad a little bit more, and that becomes your home for some time. Or this might be throwing a light on giving a lot of time to your home and family. Something comes up for renegotiation, rediscussion when it comes to family and home. Or you might want to find a better way to connect with family, because your career is a lot in focus. There is a new phase in your career which has begun, and at this time your home and family calls for attention as well. This is you taking care of your inner world while there is so much activity happening in your outer world. Because your inspiration, your expansion, your hope and meaning is in good family and personal or inner life, and you need to balance it with your career focus right now. That's highlighted in this full moon, and you rage a war to make sure that you and yours are taken care of in the best way as you normally do. You're all heart, and you take care of the people you love. So you might need to close on a real estate deal, a home issue, a family issue, a security matter, shift in family setup. Personal life will take up a little bit of your time at this time, while your career is also going full swing. Remember where you came from and how far you've come. You deserve comfort. You deserve love. You deserve security. You deserve positivity in your inner world. So give it time, give it attention, because it requires you to give attention right now so you can have your career expansion in the right way. This is your base. This helps you, this expands you, this fills you, this inspires you, it expands your home, your family, expands you and gives you hope. So you want to go and invest time in it. So that's for you, Virgo. This is happening around 26 degrees. So if your planets around 26 degree of Sagittarius, sorry, 26 degree of Virgo, or if you're born around 18th of September, you'll feel it very strongly. Apart from that, Virgo, there is a push and pull which is happening because you're working on a big reveal. We spoke about it. You're working on a big reveal, and when it comes to your vision, when it comes to you launching something very grand in the month of July with the eclipses. So there might be certain power struggles you want to be careful about with a business influential person as you try to do what you think you need to do, but maybe somebody is not in agreement with your vision. So be on lookout for some of those conflicts that could come through. I spoke about it in the last video as well of Angarka Yoga, where we are working towards our vision. There might be certain ups and downs, conflicts possibly with the person in your network, with the person who's working with you on a creative venture where they have a difference of opinion. You just want to take care of whether you like it or not. You take that in and you handle it in a diplomatic fashion. Just do not let it be made a center at this point. So that's for you, Virgo. Moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, the full moon is throwing a light on our financial abundance. I spoke about it in the mid-month video as well. This is bringing to fruits certain financial matters. Values, our abundance, big growth plans, material wealth is the focus here. We are on a mission which is bigger than money. It's purpose of life, it's higher thinking, it's travel, publication, foreign ideologies, international exposure that we are after, which will get us to abundance as well. Abundance is a byproduct of that mission. We are going after a creative high of our talents and mind, but the final product is us, the skill set which we are reaping the material fruits from. So the material abundance, there might be some certain investments we might have done 6 months back in our skill sets. We might have invested financially in something 6 months back. And now we start seeing the results of creating that talent, creating that investment, creating that asset. We might see a new source of income coming our way here, and that might add to our self-worth and net worth. But as I mentioned in our mid-year video, in the mid-month video, our self-worth is more attached to a mission coming to fruition versus the material resources. So while the material resources will be great, travel, publication, foreign ideology, international exposure is what fills us up in terms of our worth. So that might come through as well. That might come to light as well. We might find a new skill set as well, which we want to go after, which will help us build our material wealth to the next level. That might be highlighted as well. So that's for us, Scorpio. This during this time, we have Mars and Mercury together in our house of faith. So there might be certain opinionated fights that can happen, which we want to be lookout for. We'll be very driven to go after our mission. So if there's somebody who thinks that we are not on the right path, we could have an argument with them, which you want to stay off. But at the same time, we might be fighting more within ourselves to go after our desires versus somebody outside. We might have a fight going on within us to go away from the mundane and go for a bigger thing versus focusing on the commercial aspects or the mundane. We want to focus on the big picture and the mundane calls at the same time. So there might be a push and pull of that. This is especially true if we have planets around 22-23 degree of Scorpio, which is around I which is around I would say 12th of November. Yeah. 12th of November born around would be 20 to 23 degree of Scorpio. So that's for us, Scorpio. Moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this is all about you. All lights are on you. This is a phase of your life which is coming to conclusion. A phase that might have been initiated sometime back. Maybe you started a new business, a new career around in December 2017, and now that comes to fruition. Or maybe a project you started 6 months back that comes to fruition, and your leadership skill, your ability to stand up for your own cause is highlighted right now. You are very much becoming a different person. Your soul, your physical body, your career is going through a change. And this is where all of that comes to fruition. You see certain fast results of that because you are in a phase of transformation with Mars and North Node currently sitting in your house of transformation. You are in a process of rebirth. You are in a process of rebirth when it comes to your intimacy, when it comes to your finances. So, this full moon throws a light on you and shows you certain first fruits of your labor. It infuses you with fresh energy to go after your goals. Show up as you truly are. You are grand, you are fire, you are hunger for adventure, you are the place that everyone follows, you are the archer who aims higher and further than anyone we know. It's going to be emotional as an old phase might be coming to an end, completion, but it's required to allow you to be you. The adventurer with a quest, the new mission is ready to start a new life. So, some old mission might be coming to a closure. Maybe there are certain phases, certain endings that are coming in your life for you to move on to a more expansive path. And this is especially true if you have planets around 26 degree of Sagittarius, which is around 18th of December born. You might be ending something. You might be closing on an old chapter which you're done with, which you have completed. You're done that. You've been there, done that, and moving on to something more positive, more expansive. And at the same time, Sagittarius, the power struggle could be between you and somebody else on finances, on joint finances. There might be some struggles that you might be going through. There might be separation of assets. There can be certain property matters, money matters that might be under discussion, which you want to be careful about in the coming week. So that's for you, Sagittarius. Good luck for that. We get one full moon in the year, and this is yours. It will have an effect on you for a longer period of time, especially if you have planets around 26 degree of Sagittarius, which is around 18th of December born, 2 or 3 days before and after. Moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, this brings to forth your private life. What comes to focus with this Sagittarius full moon is your self-care, your private life, your bed pleasure, your faith, your spirituality, all the things that you normally sacrifice to deliver all of you to the work world or to others, that is brought to focus. Because we have got to take care of you, close a few loops before we get into your eclipses next month. You're already working on starting your new chapter of life, which the eclipses will bring. But what's brought to focus now is our fears, our unconscious beliefs, which we need to remove through light on and handle for once, as we cannot continue in the new phase with any of the past fears or subconscious beliefs. We do not need that in the new phase. Uplift yourself by catering to your soul right now. Connect with yourself, even if briefly, through travel, through religion, through faith, through charity, through compassion, which brings to forth your hidden strength. And we need it all for your new quest. We have two eclipses in July in your sign and in your opposite sign. And in order to go through that, we have to get our strength together. We need fresh infusion of faith, and that is exactly what this eclipse gives, what this full moon infuses you with. It infuses you with fresh faith, with fresh belief, with fresh compassion for yourself, self-care. And at this point in time, you might be working on a partnership and the opposition, or there might be a power struggle between you and the other. Your personal relationship might be going through a dynamic time of conflict resolution and reconciliation. This is especially true if you have planets around 22, 23 degree of Capricorn, which is about, I would say, 10th, 11th of Jan born. But for most of you, that's possible because we are working towards a different model of partnership with the eclipses. So that's for you, Capricorn. Moving on to Aquarius. Aquarius, this full moon throws a light on your networking, you joining people, teaching big groups, socializing, uplifting large set of people with your vision is your aspiration, your expansion, your abundance, your belief which fills you up. That's highlighted either through travel. You might be traveling, you might be teaching, you might be interacting with your network, with your fan base. This is you giving birth to your vision by launching something at a wider scale to your network. By traveling, by teaching, by interacting with people who are different from you in your network, in your fan base, this is joy. This is you finding meaning with your friends, your large network. You receive higher perspective through your friends. You have big goals for yourself, and this full moon shows you rewards for some of them, as well as gives you forward looking inputs on how to create big wealth or apt returns for your investment moving forward. This is especially true if you have planets around 26 degree of Aquarius, which is around 16th of February born. You have this available to you as a positive energy. What's happening at the same time is that you might be working on shifting your work environment as you're working on creating the law and order at work in your day to day routines. You might be working on your health right now, which is also a subject of your push. And what you need to be careful of at this time is that we might overdo it. We might run too much. We might overdo the health thing. We might be ingesting something inflammatory, which we want to be careful about around this time. But other than that, Aquarius, this is excellent energy to network, to join people, to teach big groups of people, to socialize, to make a mark, to let your creativity show at a larger scale, and you might get rewards for it. This is a full moon of rewards of your talents. You get certain appreciation for the work done so far, especially if you had started this 6 months back and now that is coming to conclusion. You might have been working on this vision, on this launch for the last 6 months. And now finally it is shifted, it's changed, it is in the format that you want, and you see the results of that. It could be a website that you're launching, it could be a product that you're launching, it could be a creative idea that you're launching. So good luck for that, Aquarius, and enjoy the glory as it comes to you. Enjoy the wealth, enjoy the positive feedback that comes with it all. Moving on to Pisces. Pisces, this is a critical axis that is getting activated. We spoke about it in your mid-month video as well. The full moon in Sagittarius throws a light on you, your leadership style, your social status, your career, your authority. It is brought to focus as you are given the center stage as a leader. Results of some past project, maybe a past career coming to conclusion, or a past project coming to conclusion and giving its fruits. At the same time, vision is seen on how to expand this further. How do you expand your social status further? How do you expand your career further? And it might require new philosophy, teaching, education, travel, foreign influence, which is welcome and which is very welcome, and it helps you. It gives you new ideas on how to expand your career further. Always stay on the high road here as you normally do, because there is a lot of focus here, Pisces, on your security, on your risk taking capability. With Mars and North Node and Mercury sitting in your self expression, you're trying to create something which is taking a risk on yourself, and that might create a little bit of friction, maybe with somebody in your network that you want to be on lookout for. This new start in career, this completion of a phase, an old phase in career, this giving birth to something in your career, giving fruits to something in your career, seeing a new vision in your career, especially true if you have planets around 26 degree of Pisces, which is around 17th of March born. But the power struggles could be more for 22 degree of Pisces, which is around 11th or 12th of March born. So you want to be on lookout for that. Just don't give in to the lower frequency, stay at the higher frequency, and this is all good. This is for our positive. This is happening for you to have an expansion in your career. This is the fruits of Jupiter being in your career house, and it will go on till September, till you see the final growth in it. This is a phase of growth. So good luck for that, Pisces. and I'll see you in the eclipse season now. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in the eclipse season now. Thank you.